Joink. All right, Mike says good. All right, beep beep. Welcome back. Welcome to part 3 of the Mummy franchise recap. So, we talked about the classic Universal Studios monsters. We talked about the Hammer horror monsters. We talked about Goosebumps. And now we're still in the 90s, and we're going to talk about the they're absolute classics. The Brendan Fraser Mummy movies that came out in 1999. Part 2 came out in 2001, and then Part 3, which is not a classic at all, came out in 2008. We're not going to talk much about 3. But anyway, 1999, The Mummy came out. Wow, was that amazing. There are few perfect movies out there that just everything hits correctly. But The Mummy, the 1999 The Mummy, is one of those. I think it is so perfectly paced, and every little bit and every little gag that they have works perfectly every time. It is a marvel, that movie. You can tell they put a lot of time and love into that movie. And I don't think it could have been cast better. They have the best cast of all time. They have Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz and Arnold Vosloo, who plays the Mummy himself. Every single character, every single actor in that movie gives it their all. And just even the little bit parts, they seem iconic. Like they're just stuck in my head. Like those quick little blips that they have, like Benny. Like, what an amazing character Benny is. It's too bad he couldn't come back for any of the sequels. It makes sense that he didn't. But just every little thing he does, and just the fact that he's in there and he's like, there's this constant tension between him and Rick O'Connell. It's great. It's perfect. Goodbye, Benny. I love that. Anyway, there's endless quotable lines in The Mummy as well. And it's done so well. And it's so pulpy, and it feels like a classic 1930s, 40s action-adventure flick that you'd go, to your local theater and see. And, it's amazing. Not until I just rewatched The Mummy 1 and 2 this weekend. And I never noticed before that there's a lot of influence from the previous Mummy movies in this one. Case in point. I believe it's the second Hammer Mummy movie, the Curse of the Mummy's Tomb. There's a scene where a guy has glasses, and he gets up, and his glasses get crushed, and he's like, "Oh no! Oh, I can't see!" And he's walking around trying to figure out where he's at, and then the Mummy shows up, and it shows like blurred vision, and the Mummy shows up and attacks him. And that's exactly what happens in the 1999 Mummy. It's like, why would you take that specific little thing and plug it in there? It must have been a scene that really inspired Steven Soderbergh, writer-director of these movies. There's a couple of other things. There's like something from the Blood of the Mummy's Tomb I noticed as well. Like the whole female mummy thing, some of that was applied to Anoxuna Moon. And so Soderbergh must have been a big Mummy fan, and there are a lot of things as well from the Universal monster movies that are put into this. So you can tell that this 1999 Mummy movie, everything that happened in it was done out of respect for this franchise and love. And really, this is the last time you see a mummy, like a version of the Mummy, with bandages hanging down and everything, that is iconic and classic and terrifying, and he's his own thing, but he's not the same as like Clarice or the Mummy from the original Boris Karloff version. He's his own thing, and it's just perfect. I love everything about this movie. Every frame of this movie is so perfectly well done, so timed, and this movie just it ripped open the universe. Like it's something you must see if you haven't. There's something for everybody in this movie. There's even some good scares in this movie, like the scene I was talking about, the guy with his glasses, and he's looking around, and the mummy comes, and there are some good, tense moments in this movie as well. So, highly recommend the 1999 Mummy. I think it's one of the best adaptations of that character that you will ever see. I think that one and the original 1932 Mummy are probably my two favorite Mummy movies. Then, we're going to get now into The Mummy Returns, which came out in 2001. It came out only 2 years later, and this is a good and fun movie, but it's not as good. This one actually feels quite rushed. It does feel like there was a deadline set. Universal just wanted to crank this one out to continue that franchise, that IP, and it did seem like there needed to be a lot more polishing with the script. And even the acting wasn't quite up to par. Like, nothing with this one is up to par with the 1999 Mummy. It's close at times. Back when I first watched it as a kid in theaters in 2001, I thought it was better because it's so action-packed. And that's actually part of the problem, is the pacing is so action-packed. You're just constantly moving around, and you don't take the time to take a breath and enjoy the little things that the first Mummy movie gave you. There aren't a lot of those moments in The Mummy Returns, and it shows, and it just feels very fast-paced, and I'm sure that's how it was behind the scenes. Making that thing and editing that thing was just like boom, 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 hurry up, we got to get this thing out, we have a deadline. That's what that movie felt like. But good movie overall. I liked that they brought back most of the characters that we know and love, except the ones that, of course, were killed off, like Benny. It makes sense what happened. There's less of that whole, the mummy is slowly regenerating and slowly becoming a person. They just kind of skip right past that right away. So this one's not as fun, but it's still good. It's very action-packed. There's still some great moments in it. Rick is still at top of his game, so definitely check that one out. Then we jump to, we'll talk about the animated series. That came out next. It's just called The Mummy. That ran for 2 seasons, and it continues that storyline for Saturday mornings, and it follows like Rick's kid. Rick's kid was difficult to watch in The Mummy Returns, and that's what the animated series focuses on, is him. Alex, I believe, is his name. His training and his learning to become like this guardian and all that stuff. The animated series, it was okay. It's exactly what you'd expect out of an animated series based on the Mummy property, and there's nothing too questionable that happens in it. But it's worth a check if you're a big fan of those Brendan Fraser Mummy movies. Then we get the third official Mummy movie called The Mummy, the Tomb of the Dragon Emperor. And in this one, they move away from Imhotep and Anck-su-namun and all that, and it's a new mummy. Jet Li plays the mummy in this movie. And it was okay, but this new movie just didn't feel like a mummy movie at all. The settings are so radically different. Like, they're actually in the Arctic, and there's a moment they're climbing a mountain, and there's these yetis that are coming at them, and there's just all these different visuals that just don't feel like they belong in that universe. And then the big bummer was that Rachel Weisz was not able to come back for the third Mummy movie, so they got Maria Bellows, I believe, who played the female lead in the third Mummy movie. So things like that just make it feel a little disjointed. And then there was a huge time jump for us as well. The wait, it was a 7-year wait, and then there was a watch it if you're a fan of these movies, but I wouldn't call it a good movie by any stretch. It's just one to watch if you want to continue the story of Rick O'Connell. So that kind of, and then there's a fourth movie that they have announced. Who knows what it's going to be about yet. I'm excited, but more to come on that, I guess, because no one knows much more than that so far. So that concludes that line of the Mummy movies, the Soderbergh Mummy movies. Then I suppose we can talk about the 2017 Mummy a little bit with Tom Cruise. It was not good. It really fumbled the start of this dark universe, and that's one of my biggest disappointments in cinematic history, is when they announced this brand new dark universe that's going to be this big cinematic universe with all the Universal monsters crossing over. I was so excited for that idea, and the Mummy just fumbled right out of the gate, and it's just, that movie didn't seem to know what it was. It was all over the place, and in my opinion, it's because Tom Cruise came in and took what was supposed to be a Mummy movie and turned it into a Tom Cruise action spectacular. He turned it into a Mission Impossible movie, really. There's a scene where he's on a plane that's going to crash, and if we know anything about Tom Cruise, he loves these stunts. He loves to do all these crazy stunts with planes and things, and that is such a Tom Cruise stunt. That's such a move by him. Like, oh, this big crazy, set piece with this plane that's crashing. Makes sense. And then there's another part where Tom Cruise is underwater, and he's swimming around underwater, and there's these mummies underwater coming to get him. It's like, why are mummies underwater? Wouldn't they break apart and decay underwater? Why are we doing a whole underwater thing? That doesn't seem to fit for a Mummy movie. That seemed like another Tom Cruise Mission Impossible type scene that just didn't belong in a Mummy movie. I like that they started trying to set up Dr. Jekyll, who was going to be, like the what do you call him? I guess just the guy that shows up in all these movies and ties them all together, like the Nick Fury type, I guess. That was cool. I appreciated him, but we never got to see more than that. There were a lot of teases he had. He had the creature from the Black Lagoon's claw. He had like something from Dracula. I was very excited for where this was going to go, and the Mummy just didn't seem to know what it was, and it ended weirdly. And it's like Tom Cruise is going to be the Mummy now, and then nothing more came of the dark universe. That was it. Everything that they had planned, scrapped. So that was a disappointment. There are some good things about the 2017 Mummy movie, but overall, it's not a classic. Watch it if you're a fan of mummies. So I think that kind of concludes all the Mummy movies up until now. So I'm done talking about mummies. No more mummies. Let's now talk about Marcus Lake's 10 Cinema. We got the unfortunate news on Thursday last week that our local theater in town here, Marcus Cinema, was just going to be closing, sight unseen. And we only had a few days to process this. And I have so many member berries with this Marcus Lake's 10 Cinema. I first visited this cinema way back in 1995. I went to go see Toy Story. And at the time, Toy Story was sold out. There was a line out the door to go and see Toy Story. So it broke my little heart that I couldn't go see Toy Story, but I went to go see It Takes Two instead, the Mary-Kate and Ashley movie. Probably could have just snuck into Toy Story and it would have been fine, but whatever. That's the first time I remember actually going to that particular cinema. And there have been a few other moments throughout. And this was just a very special, retro-feeling theater. And I loved it. It was so charming. It's in Hermantown. That's a lot of people's theater of choice. And so anyway, so they made this big Facebook post that they're closing. And the thing that stings about it is there's no rhyme or reason behind it. No reason was given. And there's a lot of speculation, and I've heard a lot of different speculation and theories, and there's one particular theory that I'm hearing a lot, but I can't really say anything until facts come out. And as I know, as of now, no facts have come out yet about what the reasoning is. It seems very abrupt that this happened, like maybe the staff didn't even really know what was going to happen, because I check their website every week, and I always want to see what's playing when and where, and you know, what's going to time out, what's going to work out, and I always check the Lakes website, and they had movies listed out through December, so it doesn't seem like they were planning for this. So it's just heartbreaking that this happened, and there was no time to process. I heard about it on Thursday, so I had to go see a movie on Friday because I knew I'd be busy like all Saturday and Sunday with a different event. And so that was it. I got to see The Mummy at Lakes 10 on Friday, and you know, rest in peace, Lakes 10. So I have prepared, actually, quick little slideshow to remember Lakes 10 Cinema. Oh, hi! Lakes 10 Cinema, as they were. So we're going to take a quick little look in memoriam of Lakes 10 Cinema. If this was your theater, hopefully this is a little special to you as well. Let's take a quick look. Joink. All right. So this was Halloween night, 2006. My friends and I went to go see Saw 3 there. Let me just recap a little bit of the things I saw prior to this. So I tried to go see Toy Story back in 1995. Didn't get to. Yeah, so It Takes Two instead. But then I did get to see Toy Story in 2009 when they re-released them in 3D. It was Toy Story 1 and 2 in 3D. You got the glasses, and then in between the movies, they had a lot of fun little between show things that were playing. They had some of the Toy Story treats that they made from the 90s were playing. It was amazing. I also got to see House of a Thousand Corpses there in 2003. That was a fun experience. But now we're going to talk about, that was Saw 3. I also got to see the re-release of Halloween, the 1978 classic there at that place. So here is Back to the Future. 2015, Back to the Future Day. There's me as Doc Brown. I wore that exact Doc Brown costume a few weeks ago when I was talking about Back to the Future. There's my buddy Shanzi dressed as Marty McFly. And it was pretty packed in there for Back to the Future Day. It was Wednesday, October 21st, 2015. It was a fun time. It was a big Back to the Future party. I was on the news that day for being there. Oh, it was an amazing day. There's nothing like dressing up in costume and coming out to a movie. This was another big deal for me. Goosebumps 2 came out in 2018. I was so excited for that one, and it was okay. And then here we are going to see the new, at the time, Halloween movie. Halloween 2018 came out. So I had seen the original Halloween there as a big screen re-release. Then just a few years later, Halloween 2018, here's my family. We all showed up to see Michael Myers' triumphant return 40 years later. Then, this was a big night for me as well. There's me and my buddy Jeremy. This is part of our charity group, the Twin Ports Ghostbusters. We were invited out there to help host a screening of Ghostbusters 3, aka Ghostbusters Afterlife. This was the opening weekend of that, and that was a movie I had been waiting my entire life for, Ghostbusters 3. And so Lakes made it real for me. They made a whole event out of it, and they put us at the center, and it was one of the greatest nights ever to be part of that. And then here we are. This was Friday night before I went in to meet my buddy and go see The Mummy. I just had to take a sad face leading into Lakes, and then here we are. This is us after The Mummy. And we were kind of talking about what we felt about it and how it just felt like an Evil Dead movie. And this is the last picture we took. We wanted the big marquee back there. They were closing up for the night. And then we went our ways, and I just snapped this last picture, and this is the last picture I'm ever going to get of Lakes 10 while their doors were still open at the time. So, back on cam. So, rest in peace, Lakes 10. You've been there for us through thick and thin. I've appreciated you throughout the years. They've been here for almost 30 years. If I recall, Lakes 10 opened their doors, I believe, in 1993. They had like Sister Act 2 and some other stuff that was playing. And then 95 is when I saw them for the first time. So it's been over 30 years that Lakes 10 has been in my life, and now out of nowhere it's just gone. I feel like I've lost a buddy. So thank you for the memories, Lakes 10. But for those of you who are sad that your favorite theater has closed its doors, don't fret. There are plenty of other places in the Twin Ports here to go and get your movie fix. Of course, there's the Duluth 10 Theater downtown here by the William A. Irvin. Huge, amazing. It's actually like my favorite theater in town here. Gigantic. They're doing really well. They're going to be around for a while. So go out, support your local businesses. This is just another testament to that. There are other theaters. There's the Premier Theater out in Cloquet. That has a nice retro feel to it as well. I was just there a few weeks ago to see Ninja Turtles 2. It was great. And I saw Undertone there as well. I love that theater as well. So then we also have the downtown Zeitgeist Cinema. Shows movies. They show old and new movies. Then right across the street, we have that theater with the big marquee. They show movies there at the North Shore Theater. Sorry, I knew it was a slightly different pronunciation. The North Shore Theater, they show movies there sometimes. And then if you want to go all the way out to the Duluth Depot, they have a new theater and they show movies there as well. So there are plenty of places to still get your movie fix. Now is a good time to support your local businesses and make sure that more theaters don't close, because we want to see as many theaters hang in there as we can. It's just sad to see something like this happen. Cinema, man, you know, they should make a movie about this very moment with your favorite hometown theaters closing. That would be something. So, rest in peace, Marcus Lakes 10. That's enough of that sappy stuff. So, let's lighten the mood a little bit and let me talk a little bit about what's coming up next week. I have another, I guess I could say a horror movie. It's a thriller. It's another retro release, and it's one of my favorite movies of all time. And that is coming back to theaters to celebrate its 35th anniversary. And I think it was supposed to be playing at Lakes 10, if I'm correct. Hopefully, I got to double check the times. I think it might be playing at Duluth 10 this coming week. So that will be my flick of the week. Next week, I've got another crazy costume figured out. Less props for that one, but we'll have a fun time with that one as well. So, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for crying with me about the closure of one of our favorite local theaters. Thank you for sticking with me throughout all this mummy nonsense. And yeah, thanks for once again for sticking around for this entire stream. I think this one went for almost an hour again. All right, so until next week, my friends, stay spooky.